I can't believe I put off reading this book for so long. This was a freaking ride. Holy shit. Hey book baddies, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Kariana and today we're here to talk about The Ritual by Shantel Tessier, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Probably not. I always pronounce names incorrectly. This is part of a standalone series called The Dark College Romance, or the Lords series, I believe. And this is the first book, The Ritual. The second book is The Sinner, and the third book is The Sacrifice. I had to look. Okay, I'm new to the train. I know. If you are on Book Talk, these books have been talked about a lot, but I'm always late to trains. I've mentioned this in quite a few videos. I just apparently like to jump on late, and that's okay. It's just part of my personality, apparently. So if you are somebody who has never heard of this series, basically at this college, there is this society called the Lords, right? And these people have a lot of power, and basically you're set up for life if you're part of this group, but you do have to prove your loyalty to these people. And within this story, we're following Riot, who is almost at the end of his college career. And since he's almost at the end, he gets to pick a chosen. And the chosen basically is somebody who he gets to have fun with until he has to marry. And the person that we're following that he chooses is named Blakely. And she's already, what is the word I'm looking for? Promised, arranged to marry another lord. A lot of these lords already have arranged marriages, and that's sad and disgusting. But anyway, she ends up becoming the chosen of Riot, and we kind of go on this ride between what happens between the two of them, and also get an inside look at how the Society of the Lords work. That's basically all I can really tell you without spoiling the book for you. I did rate this a 3.5 stars on my Goodreads. It is a good book, and it was good enough for me to want to continue on reading the series, but it wasn't something I was completely in love with. So one of the reasons I wasn't completely in love with this book was that I feel like Blakely, or Blake, because that name drives me cuckoo, I feel like she's set up to just be so naive. And I'm sure that's for our benefit as the reader, because we're not supposed to understand certain things and things get revealed later on in the book. But I don't like characters that are like that. The entire time I was like, there's no way that you don't know what's going on. There's no way you didn't know that. And it's frustrating. And even in the book, she herself and Riot will say, like, how did you not know? Or I should have known. And it's like, yeah, you should have. And I get it's being used as a device for the story, but it does drive me absolutely insane. I don't like when characters are set up to just be oblivious to what's going on around them. And I just wasn't in love with Riot and Blake. And it wasn't because they weren't written well or that I didn't care about their relationship at all. There was just something that I wasn't connecting with. And that happens sometimes. Now, I was on live a couple of days ago, and one of my book baddies, Brittany, was talking about how she's absolutely in love with the second book, The Sinner, and a character named Tyson. And we do get to meet Tyson in The Ritual. He is in the first book. And I understand why already. I was starting to fall in love with Tyson. So I'm 100% going to read The Sinner. I've heard it could destroy you, so I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I am excited to continue the series. I think the writing is done well, and I really was more intrigued by the Lord Society and everybody that was within it. And the twist at the end, I was completely shocked by. There was things happening like the last 150 pages where I was just like, there's what? And then, a little while later, I was like, huh? It was absolutely insane. The twists were really, really good. I think a couple of them I kind of caught on to, but for the most part, I was just shocked at how everything unraveled at the end of the book. And the end of the book is very action-packed. I mean, you just go, 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 go. And it's like, whoo. Now, there is a scene where I feel like it was almost rushed. And I don't want to say because it's a spoiler, but something happens to Riot at the end of the book. And I just feel like the resolution of what happens to him happens too quickly. There's not enough suspense for me to really be like, and just, I wanted more. I wanted more suspense. And I know, okay, this book is gargantuan. Like, by doing so, you would have added more to this book. But I think there were things within the story itself you could have taken out and added more there to just make it more gut-wrenching. You know, I wanted that. And I do kind of like the fact that both of them were under the understanding, like, oh, like, we're not in this for love at first. And I think that their relationship plays out well. I don't know. I just wasn't in love with them completely. And that's okay. I mean, like I said, I liked this book, and it did make me want to continue the series. And this is, I believe this could be considered a dark academia as well. Maybe I'm using that term incorrectly. If I am, let me know down below. But that's the first time I've read something like that, and I really enjoy it. And I love the idea of a secret society and peeling back the layers as we go on through the series. I think that's really, really great. The other thing that kind of bothered me throughout the story was the fact that Shantel would describe certain things, and I think just a little too much. Like, she would describe, like, the car they were driving in really great detail. And I was like, but for what reason? And, like, I understand some people like a lot of description in their stories. That's what they like. But I'm a character reader. I don't really care about setting and the things around them. I just care about what's happening to the characters. And that was another reason why I rated the book a little bit lower. Something that I loved about this was the fact that there's no kink shaming here. This is a safe place for people who have kinks, and it's a constant thing where she's having our characters remind us, like, it's okay to feel this way. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. And she's educating us. She's dropping education within the things that she's talking about as well. And I think that that's so important, especially in books like this, because we get a bad rep for reading books like this, and everybody's like, oh, you need a counselor, oh, something's wrong with you. Not necessarily. Sure, I'm sure there are cases, but not all of them. And I think that that was really brilliant. And even though this is a very dark and smutty book, I feel like this is the place that people new to dark romance should start because of that. Because of the fact that it becomes a safe place and a place for you to explore and feel accepted. One of the most popular books to start with is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I love H.D. Carlton, and I liked those books. And people are always like, oh, this is so dark. This is much darker than those. But I feel like because of that education and that constant reminder that you're okay makes this a good place to start, because then as you read on with other books, you're not questioning yourself as much. Not saying there isn't questionable content in dark romances, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But I just really think that that was my favorite part of this, is that constant reminder that, hey, it's okay to feel this way, and the description of the character and what she's going through and discovering, and even the education that happens in here. It's not a lot. Of course, do your own research to get into these things, but it was enough that I just felt like this is brilliant that this is happening. So if you are somebody who likes dark societies, dark romances, and smut, I mean, lots of it in here. I'll tell you a lot. There's one scene with Tyson in the woods, and Blakely happens to see him doing something. That's probably my favorite scene in the whole book. I don't know why, but it is. But I definitely think this is worth the read, and I'm glad I finally hopped on the train. I finally understand the hype, and I am going to be continuing the series, I promise. If you have stayed through the whole entire video, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate all of you. And if you're wanting to know, the next book I will be reading is I Prefer Peter by Mita Batagalia, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And I will be reviewing that once I finish this book as well. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.